Hi YouTube, it's Lena, and I am here today with the much belated low-buy intro and now first update. I took too long to film this. It happens, but the idea, I got this from, on Instagram, Lipstick Predator, and she got this from a beauty guru made me do it. I will link both of them down below, but I tweaked some of these rules to fit my own, well, not necessarily needs, but my own ways of counting my stuff, honestly. But the thing is, I have every intention of moving this year. I'm actually moving into, hopefully, a larger house, because me and my husband are planning on buying our own house this year. But the less shit I gotta move, the better. It's honestly what it is. It's also a little bit about saving money because we're teaching myself better spending habits, truly, because, you know, once we move and we're paying a house note every month, we're not going to have as much disposable income, obviously. But the real reason behind this is the less shit I got to move, the better. So, I'm going to read the rules that I have and let you know where I tweaked things, because there is one particularly big one that I tweaked, but it's because of just how I count eyeshadows, honestly. Because I know, the thing is, some people count all of their eyeshadows by the pan. I don't. I just don't. That gives me a headache. And is a little trauma inducing, honestly. So where they both have, they're going to count their purchases by the eyeshadow, I'm going to count it by the palette. I'm just being honest with myself there. Eyeshadows are really what I like. They are my weakness. And I definitely plan on going slower with purchasing eyeshadow palettes and maybe decluttering a few more along the way. But that's just mean to me. You know, at the end of the day, you do you, I'll do me, and we'll all get along just fine. Anyways, here's the rules. For every 2 full-size beauty products I use up, I can buy 1 beauty product, doesn't matter the category. Each finished beauty product is called an empty. So for 2 empties equals 1 new item that I can buy. You with me so far? So 2 full-size empties equals 1. Each empty must be full-size, obviously. So I obviously said each empty must be full-size to count in that way. Like for 2 minis, for example, which I have a lot of minis, I have several subscription boxes, which they no longer count as 1 purchase, but each individual item coming in, by the way, that hurts me a little bit. That means I get to purchase less overall, which is a good thing. So like 2 deluxe finishes equals 1 empty. So I need to finish 4 minis to purchase 1 new thing. Now they have the rules where each pan they finish in an eyeshadow palette equals an empty, but because I'm not counting them, I'm not going to give that to myself either. So like if I finish a single eyeshadow, like single, I bought it as a single, it's a single. If I finish that, that is an empty because I bought that as a single. I count that coming in as a single. But if I finish 1 eyeshadow in a pan, that's not going to count as an empty because I also just don't count those in my empties. Like when I finally finished all of the Lorac Pro, I counted it as 1 empty. I didn't count it as 16 individual products. So, makes sense to me. When I finished the last shade of an eyeshadow quad last year, I didn't count it as 4 empties. I only counted it as 1. So like I said, it's just going by how I count my eyeshadows. But if for them, counting their eyeshadows works for them, it just doesn't work for me. So if I do bring in an eyeshadow palette, it is just 1 item for me, and I can use up two items to bring in 1 eyeshadow palette. Works for me. And I've already failed this part, but I should not be buying something counting towards future empties. The December 2018 empties did count towards my January purchases. Exceptions. In theory, I don't see any exceptions. Like, if she had no, the person who came up with these, if they had no extras, then it wouldn't count to purchase a new one, but the one that they finished wouldn't count either. I decided not to do that, so just like I don't get any special exemption to say if I completely run out of mascara, I need to go buy a mascara and it doesn't count towards my thing. But if I finish my last mascara, it still counts towards Empties. Not that I'm ever going to run out of mascara, but just as an example of stuff that people seem to actually kind of run out of. But like say, I broke my one razor last month, but I counted it towards my Empties and then I counted it towards my purchases. Just one less thing that I gotta do. The only things that don't count towards mine are either gifts, like honest to God gifts, not something that I told somebody to buy for me. But if say somebody, like my husband's like, what do you want for our anniversary, let's say, because that's coming up in March. If I pick something out, that is a gift. But if say I whine about wanting something and then he goes and buys it for me, I'm still gonna count that as a purchase. You get me? Not that I would do that, but if it came up. Also, that and any PR type things that I get. I don't get a lot of PR. I get stuff sent to me through 0.8 liter. That doesn't count. I'm actually going to show you a box that I got from Influencer. That doesn't count against me. So, the random stuff like that. Oh, and the zany laney stuff, the stuff that's part of my actual PR for the month, I don't count against me. But say if I bought any of the extra one-off sprays for the month or anything like that, I do count those. Makes sense in my head. And I will be, not only will I be telling you everything that I used up and decluttered, because I have all of my declutters here. And then I'm going to, some of them are already up on like my subscription addiction site or on my Poshmark site. But like stuff that I'm going to throw away, I will be throwing away immediately after I finish filming this video, because I've literally been holding on to them just so that I can show them in this video and then throw them away. Now I am actually in a deficit right now and I would have been fine, because especially with counting my Empties from December into it, I would have been fine. I got some horrible news at the end of the month. Like, nobody died, but it was a big foobar in my family happened. And it kind of traumatized me. I'm still kind of traumatized, but I'm better than I was. I don't know if I've talked about it to some of my friends, like some of my personal friends online and in person. But I don't know if I necessarily want to talk about it on YouTube. If that changes, y'all will be the first to know. But because I got some wretched ass news, I went on a little bit of a shopping spree. I mean, it happens to the best of us. And I decided I did not care. I was going to buy shit to make myself feel better. You shouldn't necessarily do that. But I did. It happens. But now I got to use up more stuff to make up for it. Technically this month and probably next month as well, because I went pretty bad. Anyways. So, my Empties from December, I did all the math. Oh, samples. I forgot to mention. Sheet masks, if I finish 5, they become 1 purchase. If I finish 5 samples, because I have so many of them lying around, like the little foil samples, they also become 1 purchase. So, those are factored in as well. So, for my Empties from December, I had 17 all added up correctly. For my declutters that I'm going to show you in a minute, and some pictures that I'm going to have to show you because I don't have them in here, but they're like listed on my Poshmark or they're already gone. I have 11 total, which is like a bunch of minis and some full sizes. My Empties for January, which counts towards my January purchases as well, I have 19. So I had 47 altogether. I was doing really good. I had 62 purchases. Now I could go through and try counting like minis differently, but I just decided not to because it's still me bringing something in. Because the idea is to have more going out than going in. This is kind of complicated. I will write down the rules down below in hopes of maybe being able to read it. It helps explain it a little better than me babbling. So right now I'm actually in a negative 15 deficit. And I haven't counted up anything I've used this month or anything I've purchased this month. Now I will say my monetary total is still way below my purchase total. My purchase total is still way below my Empties total monetarily, which is what I've always gone by. But I wanted to start doing this because I wanted to move less, and because I can always get something on a deal. It doesn't really hold me back too much, to be perfectly honest. So Let's get into the declutters, and then I will show you the crap ton of stuff that I purchased. See, one thing that bit me in the butt really bad was I bought a mystery bag, and it came with like 19 items that I wound up keeping. Because while I didn't count anything that I didn't keep in that, like towards my declutters, I just didn't count it coming in. Like some stuff I wound up listing on like Poshmark and stuff like that because I decided they weren't gonna work for me. Anyways, declutters. I have, first off, I went through my hair care and I decluttered a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna insert a couple of pictures here showing everything that I decluttered. But I also decided to let go of 2 skincare items I got from 0.8 liter last year because they don't work for me. This Letara Jus Cactus Daily Facial Cream is too heavy for my skin. I'm very oily. I can really only use like a gel-based moisturizer. So this is gonna go. In this Mayo Factory Bifidolacto Complex is also gonna go because it breaks me out and I haven't been touching it since I realized it was breaking me out. What I'm gonna do with these 2 is I'm going to list them on the Geeks and Beauties makeup and skincare stuff like that swap, because a lot of people are always looking for skincare on there, and in theory these are 2 very good products that a lot of people like. It's just they don't work for me. Hopefully I can get rid of them fairly soon. I do have 4 things that I'm unfortunately throwing out. It's unfortunate, but it happens, especially when you have a large ass collection. So 3 concealers, 2 are super old and 1 is just going bad. Like it went bad so quickly I wouldn't recommend purchasing it. And that one is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow, which I actually really liked, but it has gotten super orangey and it's gotten really oily in the tube. So I don't trust it to put it under my eyes. My eyes are really sensitive. So I'm just chucking this in the garbage. And this is one I got from the Dollar Tree a couple of years ago, and it was old when I got it at the Dollar Tree, so I just need to let it go. It's an Almay concealer. It was specifically made for blemishes because it has like this, you know, blemish treatment on here, and the other side is just a stick. But it's starting to smell a little strange. Like that kind of Play-Doh-y smell that makeup gets when it's starting to go off. So that needs to go. And this has that same smell. It is an LA Colors concealer. Yeah, it's just a concealer stick, and it did work pretty well. Ooh, oh, but that one, like there's nothing growing on it or anything, obviously. I wouldn't even show it to you if it was. It's always had this like really intense kind of powdery smell, and it's gotten worse, which if stuff starts smelling more intense, that's a sign that it needs to go. I also have this beat to shit MAC shadow. Like, I don't even know what it is. It's trying to fall out of the pan. I need to stop shaking it, but mother, as you can see, it's a hot mess. I don't even know what color it is, but it needs to go. And that's unfortunately just going to get thrown away, especially since it just splattered all over my desk. Now the other couple of things. I have 2 things that went up on my, what's it called? My subscription addiction site, because I realized that one, I had doubles of them, but is the Sephora Lashcraft Mini Mascara and the Makeup Forever Artist Rouge lipstick in, what is this called? C211. It has a name, but I don't know it off the top of my head, so yeah. This has actually been claimed in a swap along with something else that I have. So this is actually leaving my house tomorrow. I'm filming this on a Sunday. I'm going to the post office on Monday. I also have this little makeup brush that I've never used. It's from Bare Minerals. So I'm just going to probably throw this into that swap that I need to mail out tomorrow as a bonus. Now, I brought in 2 bronzers and a blush at least this month. So I decided to kind of pick through my blush and bronzer thing. Like not a hardcore declutter, just to see if there was anything off the top. It's like, okay, I know I don't really care for that for different reasons. So now this is the Glamour Dolls Lisa Frank bronzer. They had a lot of issues with, like, they did a, what's it called? They did a crowdfunding thing to get their stuff off the ground, and then when they got the money, they didn't send the products to the people who actually crowdfunded them. They actually sent them to Ipsy first, which is how a lot of people got their products. And this bronzer is not good enough to get over the uncomfortable feeling of me using it. I've realized. I do have an eyeshadow from them that I really like, but I want to make sure that I use it up in the next year or so so it doesn't linger in my collection. But I'm going to let this bronzer go because it's not special enough for me to want to use it despite those icky feelings of having it, despite all the issues with the company. If you don't know about that, you can look up Glamour Dolls controversy on YouTube, and people have made videos about it that explain it a lot better than I just did. I decided to let go of this Note blush, this Note Luminous Silk Compact Blush in Desert Rose. Like, this is something I have to be really careful with because it's really, really pigmented. It's a very pretty blush otherwise, just it's a little too much for my skin. And I figure, why keep something around that I have to be really careful with when I have a ton of blushes that I like? Some even in like so similar warm orangey colors that I do like for, you know, the summer and the fall, that I don't have to be as careful with. So I decided I would let that go. Plus it's really bulky. I have some randoms. I have this little sharpener that I don't even know where I got it from, but I don't use these little sharpeners like this. Like, I like my bigger ones that hold like the sharpenings in and stuff like that. So this is going. I'll also probably throw that into that swap mailer tomorrow. I have these two eyeshadows. I need to edit this video. I did a full face of Neutrogena, and most of it was pretty good. This was very lackluster. This is the Nourishing Longwear Eyeshadow in Cool Plum. Like, they're just not great, honestly. Like, if you're somebody that likes light washes of color, they're nice. That's not what I'm into. So I will be letting that go. I have this little Clinique, I think it's a trio. Yeah, it's a trio. It's very neutral. I don't even think I've swatched it. Like, it doesn't even look like I've swatched it. It's not something I would gravitate towards, so I figure I'll just let that go. And two lipsticks that I just knew I wasn't going to wear. But it is, like, this month I didn't comb through anything with a fine-tooth comb. I just kind of gazed over my stuff and was like, I know I can get rid of that. I know I can get rid of that. Maybe next month I'll actually do like a decluttering video on some part of my collection. I need to go through my lipsticks really badly, honestly. But this is an Estee Lauder lipstick in the color Oh My Shimmer. It's copper. That's just a color I don't gravitate towards. I will gravitate towards a blue, but not a copper. This is another shade I don't gravitate towards. I'm not a hot pink lipstick wearer. I'm just not. They don't even... If they're in a shiny form, they don't even look that bad on me. Matte ones look really bad on me. But shiny ones, not so much. But this Milani liquid color, I'm just not going to gravitate towards it. Like, even the shiny ones, I don't necessarily gravitate towards, and I need to accept that for myself. Alright, so those minor declutters. Now on to everything that I bought.